What's up everyone, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John and it's time for another episode of my recurring series, Problems I Have With. In this series, I try to break down and take a closer look at the issues that I see stacking up against or facing a specific band or artist. And today, the band up for discussion are Blink-182, a legendary pop-punk group that formed in the 1990s. They're widely known and largely popular. They have a fan base that I know is so hard to appease, and I'm not trying to be one of those hard-to-please fans. It's just that at this point, I feel that they're starting to do a lot of things that are tarnishing their legacy, even if it's only slightly. Still, it's undermining and undercutting themselves just a bit, and I hope to get everything out in a tasteful, respectful manner. I try to do that with this series. I know sometimes I get a little bit too aggressive with it, but I feel that I have my points laid out well for this one, so I hope that you guys enjoyed the discussion. If you do, please drop a like on the video, subscribe if you happen to be new, and just know I'm not one of those fans that's like, oh, no Tom, then no Blink-182. I'm wearing an Alkaline Trio shirt. That should say everything right there. Blink-182 are one of my favorite bands of all time. I grew to love them during my teenage years. Between like 2003 to 2006, that was my primary introduction and the time that I really fell in love with their music. Obviously, they announced a hiatus in 2005, more of a breakup kinda, but we'll call it a hiatus. Between 2005 and 2009, they were not active, but I was so ecstatic when they got back together. They announced at the 2009 Grammys that Blink-182 were back and that a new album was coming, and that is where the problems started. The first problem that I see facing the band are the consistent promises that they make and the statements that they can't follow through on. You can check the receipts and history on this one. Blink-182 have become notorious for delaying albums now. This is something that dates all the way back to the 2003 Untitled record. Obviously at that time that wasn't a huge delay, and I could understand now that they were kind of fighting with each other. They weren't entirely getting along. Obviously they went on hiatus after that, but I had higher hopes after they got back together because they announced that in February of 2009 at the Grammys. And when did we get that new record that they promised was coming at the Grammys, or else shortly after that they were like, oh, new album, new album, new album. Well, that came out in the fall of 2011. I remember going to see Blink that year, and the album was supposed to be out before I saw them in early September. Well, it did not come out, and in fact, it had been delayed. It was supposed to come out in the spring, and then it was the summer, and the recording schedule kept getting pushed back. And at that time in Blink-182, I could see the internal fighting starting to affect them. It wasn't necessarily always fighting, but they were recording separately. Tom Delonge was isolating himself, and that just kind of gave me a lonely feeling for Blink-182. It was like, why can't they get in the studio together and just bang this out like a band? And the album came out. It is one of my favorite Blink albums at this point. I initially didn't really like it that much. Some people think it's more of an Angels and Airwaves type project, and I get that. I really do. But I have a lot of love for this project. That's not what it's about. It's just, to me, that was kind of the tipping point. Like, okay, we got back together, we tried to make this work, and they did put out the Dogs Eating Dogs EP after that, which was really good once again, but that was the last official release that we got with Tom DeLonge. After that, it's been more delays, more delays, more delays. California was coming for the longest time. Matt Skiba joined the band, which is fine. Tom DeLonge's not going to step up to the plate. He's too busy. We got to move forward. I get that. But now, on the current album cycle, the one that's supposedly coming, Blame It On My Youth, the lead single, where is the album? They've been talking about this for the longest time. It keeps coming, it's coming, it's coming. And now they've delayed it like 3 times already. They're doing interviews now, and they're initially saying one thing, and now it's like, oh, it's not going to be out in time before those Warped Tour dates. It's not going to be out in time for the summer. It was initially supposed to be maybe spring, and now we're looking at what, late summer, fall? Canceling tour dates has also been a thing for Blink-182 as well, and seemingly with little to no explanation. No, I'm not talking about Travis Barker's health issues. I understand how important taking care of the blood clots and all of the other medical issues and exams he was having is. Obviously, we're not talking about that. But didn't they cancel on Cincinnati like 2 or 3 years in a row with little to no explanation other than we're working on the album, which brings it back full circle. Oh wait, the album still isn't here. You're talking about taking all this time to work on the album, and you're like, oh, we're working with these producers. And then all of a sudden, the next interview, this producer's not even getting mentioned anymore. What's going on behind the scenes here? The second main problem that I have with Blink-182 is the constant airing out of the band's dirty laundry via interviews and social media. Remember when Tom left the band in 2015? Except, oh wait, no he didn't? thing? Oh, and then Travis and Mark actually go on Rolling Stone to blast Tom DeLonge for being ungrateful. And then Tom DeLonge backpedals and says, oh, well, I'm not out of Blink-182. Which is it? And that's just, it's not fair to the fans, honestly, to make them take sides like that. You will still see in any Instagram post that Mark or Travis or the Blink-182 page puts up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere, the fans are arguing about Tom and is he coming back and Mark. And that's gotta be so old at this point. And they kind of did it to themselves with making fans choose sides. They're doing these interviews, these things that I understand are hard to handle, but this was incessant. This is still going on in 2019. Is Tom in? Is he coming back? There will be an interview and it's like, oh, Tom is talking about it. And he's like, I could see an open door here. I could come back if I could just finish up my work with the aliens and To the Stars Academy and Angels and Airwaves and everything there. And then Mark will hop on Twitter and say, oh, actually, no, Tom and I are not talking. Tom said we were talking, but we really hadn't talked in a while. And then Travis will pop in and say, oh yeah, Tom and I, we talk all the time. And I'm like, which is it? What is it, guys? What is going on here? And then there will be a comment from Tom on like Mark's post or on Travis's post, and it's all just a big circle jerk to keep us paying attention and keep us hanging on the line. Like, is Tom coming back? It's almost like a Rachel Ross, will they, won't they situation, and it's a circus at this point. Stop dangling the donut in front of us at the end of the treadmill, Blink-182. We know that Tom is not ready to come back at this point. Who knows if he ever will? And that's great. I would love to see Tom come back because, yes, truth be told, I am definitely missing his creativity in the band. That's another issue that I'm having with them because Blink are just not having that passion anymore. It doesn't seem. The lyrics are very stale, and I can see the creative edge that Tom DeLonge had and what he brought to Blink-182, why he is the core, kind of the heart and soul of him, but also Blink's hands are tied. They can't really do anything right now. They're saying, you know, we got Matt Skiba, and some people just love to shit on Matt Skiba, and I'm like, really? This dude has made so many great records with Alkaline Trio. Obviously, he's had his solo projects, his side projects, his contributions. He's a legend in the punk rock community, and I just can't believe how disrespectful some people are to him. I also don't really like at all that Tom is just so confident that he can walk back into Blink at any time and kick Matt to the curb. Is he expected to leave? Is he gonna play guitar? Because Tom isn't very good at playing guitar live. Maybe his skills have improved. I don't know. But it just seems like he's so cocky about it. He's ready to walk back in and say like, okay, I'm ready for my job back now. And it's like, great, we just held it for you for the past like 5, 10, 15, however long it's gonna be, years. The next issue I'm taking with the band is that they're a bit directionless at this point. Who do Blink-182 even want to be in 2009? They haven't really found a good reason for existing without Tom in this current state that they're in. Sure, it was great to have California kind of return the band to their summery, sunshiny, big hook pop punk roots, but at what cost? Now they're truly running out of steam. It seems like the creative energy has just totally been drained. Mark Hoppus can't stop writing about his fucking childhood, and over again we're pounded it into us that, oh, something darker is coming, something edgier is going to happen, and then in one interview, all of the hopes just get dashed.
Experimental?
Yeah, well, those first songs too, I think we weren't even writing for an album. We were just getting in the studio, and we had written maybe a dozen songs, and we were like, okay, this is not what we want the album to sound like.
Is it upbeat? Is it catchy? Does it sound like the fucking Chainsmokers? Well, Blame It On My Youth is giving me a good reason to think that it's the latter of those things, so I don't think that it's gonna be experimental, quote unquote, like you keep throwing out there, like it's something that you just want us to catch and take home with us, like, oh, experimental, yeah, I'm gonna put that in the head. That's what I expect for the next Blink record. I genuinely feel that they're working with tons of collaborators, songwriters, and producers because they're straight up out of ideas. All of these bands always say, oh, we're doing it because we want to bring something new to the table. We want to freshen up our sound. But 8 times out of 10, I guarantee you, it's because they don't know what the hell they're doing at this point in their career, so they've run out of steam. What do? We bring in outside influences, outside writers to help us maybe take things in a mainstream direction, and the majority of the time, it pulls them backwards. It takes them somewhere that they don't need to be, and it's kind of the opposite of maturing or moving forward. The final main problem that I want to bring up today is that for a band that screamed Blink-182 for life, they really don't seem to be filled with passion for the music that they're playing. Some live dates are certainly better than others, but they often kind of phone it in, with Matt feeling like a statue on stage sometimes, and Mark picking and choosing which dates he moves around for. Travis is always killing it though, I'll give him that 110%. The vocals though, they often sound pretty rough, and you never know exactly what to expect. I think I've seen them 4 times at this point, and 2 have been good, and 2 have kind of been way off. The band are going to be performing Enema of the State all summer long in its entirety for its 20th anniversary, and that's on the tour with Lil Wayne, which, take that for what you will. I personally don't have an issue with that, unless they're going to be performing tons of songs with Lil Wayne, like that awful What's My Age Again mashup, but I think the band have already shot that one down. See, the thing here is that Matt Skiba is going to be taking over all of Tom DeLonge's iconic vocal parts, which is fine. I know they play songs from Enema live all the time, but they're playing the full album and they're like, yeah, Enema 20, except you're down like the one main member that really helped this band take off. I obviously don't think that Blink would be Blink without Travis Barker, and obviously the many drum things that he incorporated over the years, or Mark Hoppus, but also Tom DeLonge, and just the fact that most people love the traded vocal parts between Mark and Tom. That's something that's instantly lovable and recognizable. And now they're performing it and selling it like, oh, 20th anniversary tour. To me, it just feels a bit disingenuous. These were the problems that I have with Blink-182, and I would love to know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Is there anything else that's been bothering you with Blink, or maybe you just don't care, you're excited for a new album? Any and all thoughts or discussion are welcomed in the description down below. Share this video out with a fellow Blink-182 fan, because I'm curious to know what other people are thinking too. I'm getting a little bit impatient at this point. Do me a favor and please drop a like on this video. It really helps out. A like goes a long way. And subscribe for the love of music if you happen to be new in town. If you want to see another Blink-182 video that I've done, then tap this card here or tap here for the last installment of Problems I Have With. All of my social media accounts, including my Patreon page where you can support the channel directly, are linked in the description, and I'll see you soon for more right here on Beyond ARTV.